For those interested in a snorkel kit from Highlifter for the Pioneer 1000, the new versions of the snorkel kit are much better built than the old versions, which I'm pretty sure they cobbled together out of plumbing parts from the homeless death spot. So I'm going to walk you through how the new snorkel kit goes in. Here you can see that you end up taking out your regular battery, or your air filter box, sorry. Now, I had already done the upgrade kit that Honda has, which if you're not going to run a snorkel, I highly recommend you do. This blocks off your normal air intake that comes in here underneath the grill, and it directs it to right here. And it clamps on to where you used to suck air through. It's a nice molded hose. They got their logos on it and everything, but it's really nicely made. It fits perfectly. You do have to trim a little bit of plastic right here. It's easy to do. I have a little air saw and it cut through it like butter, but I'm sure there's other things you can use to cut it. I bet you could use like 10 snips or some heavy duty scissors or something. Anyways, it heads under that way, comes out. You do have to sacrifice your cup holder. Well, that's if you're running a center switch panel like I am. I'm not going to put their cup holder relocation bracket over there, but you do have to sacrifice your cup holder right here. Not that it can hold anything other than beer and 12-ounce can of soda, but anyways, this bracket goes right here, screws right into the plastic. I may end up getting rid of these guys and putting in nut certs because I don't like how they screwed into the plastic. I may use some nut certs for that. Anyways, another molded hose right here. Some good hose clamps. It looks pretty good. And then it goes into a little bit of plumbing parts. This is just a PVC pipe, and then their little inlet right here. I took the factory, kind of clean up that up, but I took the factory insert that went down there into the pre-filter, and I just put it right in there to keep it from sucking in anything that we didn't want up in there. The vent lines, you do have to run a bunch of vent lines. You will have to drill on your roll cage. For instance, the one for the coolant fan and the front diff, they run in right here and they come out through the spot right here where I already have a few wires coming through, so there was a little bit of crowding. And you drill right into your frame, and then it gets ran right up to your roll cage up here. Same with your, I used black vacuum tubing. They sent it with this clear tubing, and I didn't like the idea of this being exposed up front with some clear tubing. It looks like it was meant for a fish tank or something, so I just used this black tubing. These back here, this one's for your fuel tank. It comes out from underneath your seat, goes up underneath it, and it again goes up this roll bar here. This tube already has a vent hole right down here for water to drain. And of course it's breathing through these bolt holes right here. On the front tube where you drill in, they didn't have you drill in a drain, which I didn't like that. I'm going to tell Highlifter I didn't like that. I added a drain hole right here at the lowest point because this roll cage connector acts as a cap, and I don't think they ever planned on water getting in here, so I put in a drain hole. It didn't tell you to do that in the kit, but I did. I'll put that up here. You have your rear diff and your shifter box, which is right underneath this pedal right here. That gets vented. I tied those two together, and it gets vented right there. You will notice I did a little bit of the venting a little bit different than Highlifter wanted you to. And the coolant line just gets ran, the coolant overflow bottle gets ran just like that one did up there, just up the other side. So it's a pretty good kit. Works really well. I highly recommend that you go through and you waterproof all of your electrical connectors. I'll show you how I did that. It's pretty simple. Just one-handed for you. Here we have some connectors I haven't done yet. I've done all the ones that are pretty much below the seat line. Now these are technically weather pack connectors. God damn it, sorry. You'll notice that gasket in there, and they're kind of sealed from the back. I can tell you from experience in the automotive world that weather pack connectors are not weather tight. They still let water in here, so if you ever decide to turn this thing into a submarine and you go into the water, you will get water in here. Now, water getting in here isn't the end of the world. but the corrosion that it causes is. And you go taking your Pioneer into the water a lot and you get corrosion in here, it's gonna screw you over. I've seen it plenty on cars that I work that get flooded out. The fuse box, you know, they end up needing wiring harnesses and fuse box because all of these pins just get corroded to high heaven by basically electrolysis. All the minerals that are in the water and everything, and the moisture with electricity flowing through them, it basically causes electrolysis and a whole lot of corrosion. So what you need to get, go down to your local auto parts store, get you some big tube of this Permatex dielectric grease. Now dielectric, by its definition, means it does not conduct electricity. But what it does a great job of is displacing water. So if I coat all of the connections with this, water can't get to the connections to corrode them. Now this is not foolproof, but this is a whole lot better than somehow shrink wrapping with basically waterproofing every connector and then having to cut those apart anytime you need to work on them. So let's see if I can do this one-handed here and show you. We just take this, we're going to squirt some of this schmoo into every connection here. Spread that around, get plenty in there, and then just shove the connector right on back together. Now this isn't waterproof, but it will definitely give you an extra level of protection. Snap that guy back, show you on this guy. Shove him full of schmoo. Now, on the computer and stuff, it's under the seat, and you have another, I don't even know what the controller is up underneath this fender. I work on cars, not side-by-sides for a living. I would recommend you unhook your negative battery cable and make sure that it's not touching. I don't ever recommend that you unhook a computer while it is hooked up. That is an excellent way to fry them. So when you go to do this and you start schmooing all your connections, unhook your negative battery cable before you go do that.